Right, let's go back. We're talking to Sebastian Gorka from Washington. Mind you, the way he goes on his podcast about what's happening in Washington.
You might have to leave
I'm
for a couple of
surprised
years.
he's still allowed to live there, aren't you?
Can I just comment? Can I just comment
on
that TV special? You know, the fact that we have to reiterate that it could be that the Chinese unleashed a biological weapon from the city in China that has the only level 4 biodefense lab that is run by the Communist military of China. How is this news? And this is the absurdity of the bizarro world we live in, that now we're allowed to talk about it after a year and a half.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is, I was just talking with a previous guest. I mean, the World Health Organization, we put money into that ridiculous organization, like we put money into the United Nations, which seems to be a waste as far as I can see. And next month, it's November, isn't it? We're inviting them all to come over to Scotland, and they're all going to get together, all in their big jets, all the people. They're going to talk about the future of climate change. What is wrong with these people?
I mean, do you think they released it, Sebastian?
You're in America, he's in London, I'm in the Garden of England, we're together.
But do you
we
think
don't
they
need
released
to travel
it,
anywhere?
Do you think they released it on purpose?
Right now, the latest theory I think that is most feasible is that they were working on gain of function. That's clear. We even have Fauci admitting that we provided some of the money for gain of function research to make the virus even deadlier. And I think it escaped by accident. I think they were working on a nefarious development. It escaped by accident, and they covered it up, and they talked about pangolins and bats and whatever else. It's garbage. But what I do know for a fact, once it got out of the lab, either on purpose or by accident, they shut down travel domestically, but they allowed Chinese to travel the world. So that was a conscious decision by Xi Jinping to seed the world with the China virus. And that is a statement of fact. And that's another reason to cut ties with communist China. Let's pay a penalty. Let's have them pay the penalty for the millions of people who've been killed.
Well, why? I mean, is this why Pelosi is trying to subpoena Fauci on the origins of COVID-19? Is that what's going on?
Look, there will be a point at which this man is dispensed, when he has to be done away with, where he's a liability. This is a guy who said, remember, back in March, I played it on my show yesterday. He said, "Don't wear masks because that adds to the hysteria." Hang on a second. Then we have to wear masks. Then we have to wear double masks. And one interesting thing about Fauci, you know, the Neil Ferguson of the U.S., this is a guy who's been in that position for 37 years. And hold on to your horses. He is the highest paid bureaucrat in federal government. Do you know how much that guy earns? Fauci earns $413,000 a year out of taxpayer money.
It's not
Why?
Bad,
Because he's a survivor. He's a bureaucrat.
But don't the Chinese now, aren't they sort of on a sort of elite capture sort of thing? So a lot of people are getting sucked in and lobbied by China. So it's going to get harder and harder to go against them, isn't it?
It is. You know, former ambassadors, as soon as they leave government service, they get put on the payroll of this bank or this Chinese entity. But you don't have to go that far. Yesterday, Politico, the rag, the gutter press fake news outlet here in America, finally said after a year, yes, the Hunter Biden emails are in fact real. It's not Russian disinformation. And when he writes about the big guy, his daddy, getting 10% of the cut, when he talks, and I'm going to edit this for radio, when he says in his voicemail on his hard drive, "I'm in effing business with the effing chief spy of China," that has all been confirmed to be real. So you have the son of the incumbent president who's got a $1.3 billion deal with the National Bank of Communist China, who says he's in business with the effing chief spy of China. You don't have to look for
Trump said all this, didn't he? Trump said all this.
Yes, and it was all disinformation, Russian misinformation.
So why is Biden still in his position? Because we're not very happy, Sebastian, with the way he's talking to us about our relationship with Ireland, and he's actually sticking his nose in where we don't want it.
No, but remember, this is a pattern. What was the first thing his old boss did when Obama came into the White House? You know, the first thing he did was
he took Churchill's bust out of the
he took
Oval
the
Office.
bust out of the Oval, but he didn't just do that, Ash.
Yeah.
He had it shipped to the British embassy to say, here you go, we don't need your stinking imperialism. That's what he thought of the relationship with our closest friends across the Atlantic. And you have to understand, this senile old man, he doesn't control himself. He is Obama 2.0. This administration is filled with all the schlep of the Obama administration. And you know, every couple of weeks, Obama's getting on the blower and saying, hey, Joe, you better do this, you better do that. So this anti-British, anti-colonialism, this is just a reheated rehash of Obama.
Yeah.
Sebastian, always good to talk with you. Thank you very much indeed for your time. We must do this more often because I think at the moment that politicians in your country and my country are not up to scratch like they used to be. And I think they need a little more whipping into shape. Metaphorically
Bring back Maggie,
speaking,
bring back Ronnie, and bring back Maggie. Cheers, guys.
Maggie, oh yes, I so wish we'd cloned her. Sebastian, good to talk to you, my friend. Thank you very much
Sebastian.
indeed. Catch him on his podcast. It's very entertaining.